All right, well, welcome back. This is our final installment of Percent Fun. So in the last lesson, we talked about tax, tip, and commission, which are all real-world uses of percents. And our last topic for percents is interest. How interesting. All right, so interest is the cost of money. You might not have thought about money having a cost before, but you've probably heard about interest rates before. Like on the news or in commercials about credit cards or bank loans, things like that. So when you put money in the bank pays you for using your money because the money doesn't actually stay in a vault in the bank. They have to keep some of it there, but most of it they turn around and they loan out to other people, and then they turn around and make money off your money. So since they're making money off your money, they cut you in a little bit on it, and they give you money for using your money. It also goes the other way. So if you borrow money from a bank in the form of a loan, or you use a credit card, because you don't have enough money to, buy a car or a house or go shopping or whatever, they charge you interest for using their money. So just think of interest as the cost of money, because money costs money. So here's a good example. If you bought a $1,000 refrigerator because your refrigerator went out, and if you didn't have $1,000 laying around freed up to use for that, you might use a credit card. And by the time you pay back that $1,000 refrigerator, it might end up costing you $1,100. And then it goes the other way as well. So if you had an extra $1,000 laying around and you put it in the bank and you kept it in your savings account, when you checked on it at the end of the year, if you didn't touch it, it might be worth $1,000 with an extra $50 thrown in that the bank has paid you for using your money. All right, so there's two kinds of interest, and in the real world, compound interest is what's used, but compound interest is really complicated and you can't really work it out by hand, even with a basic calculator. So in 7th grade, we keep it simple and we talk about simple interest, which is good anyways because it helps you understand interest in general. All right, go ahead and copy down this example. And we're going to need to know some terms. For example, principal. So if you think about like the principal, he's the #1 guy in school. Principal just means your starting amount of money when we're talking about interest. Then we have rate. That's our percent. It's the annual, which means yearly interest rate, and we write it as a decimal before we can use it. We need to know time, and it needs to be in years. So if a problem talks about 6 months, we need to convert the 6 months to years and say half of a year, or 3 months would be 0.25 or a quarter of a year. So our formula we're going to use is I equals PRT. And the I stands for interest, the P stands for principal, our starting amount, R stands for our interest rate as a percent, but we need to make it a decimal, and then T stands for time in years. Go ahead and copy that down. So interest is pretty easy. It's just a plug and chug situation. So we're going to use this formula, I equals PRT. This is kind of like all the problems we did before. Let me backtrack a second. Before we were finding the part, like the tax or the commission or whatever, and we took our original amount, which in this case is our principal, and we times it by a percent as a decimal. Now we're just throwing time into it, because it depends on how long the bank has your money or how long you have the bank's money. Depends on the cost of it. Okay, so let's go back to this here. All right, Rena's grandma deposited $3,500 into a college fund. How much interest will Rena earn after 16 years and 6 months at an interest rate of this business? Okay. And then we have a follow-up question of what will the balance of the account be? So always be careful to read the problem and see what they're asking. In this case, the first part is asking just for the interest. So plug and chug. We want to know I. So we're going to go P times R times T. So our principal is our starting amount. This is our P. So I'm going to start with 3,500. R is our interest rate, but we're going to turn it into a decimal. Boom, boom. 0.0325. We're going to times that by time in years. So we have 16 years and 6 months. 6 months is a half of a year. So our time, T, is going to be 16.5. And now we are going to plug all of that into our calculator. Wait for it, wait for it. So exciting. Oh my gosh, what's that going to be? All right, we're going to get a pretty decent number. 1,876 point, oh no, we have to round, 875. Okay, we need it to the nearest penny, which is right there. 5 or more, raise the score. So we're going to raise that up to an 8. So the amount of interest earned on this money by the time she goes off to college is this much right here. Okay, so what is the balance? The balance of your account means the total amount that's in there. So the original grandma money is in there, plus the interest that has been earned. All right, and now if we add those together, we see that Rena has enough money to pay for exactly one class at school. Haha, college is expensive. All right, so anyways, if we put that together, jokes aside, seriously, college is expensive. 5,376.88. There we go. All right, it can go the other way though. So it's always nice to be on the receiving end of like, oh yay, the bank's giving me money. But it goes the other way down, other way as well. So my fridge breaks down and I need to buy a new one for this much. I put it on my credit card and it's got an 18% interest rate. And I can't pay it off for a year. Womp womp. So what am I going to pay in interest? And how much am I going to pay total? Again, read that problem. All right, I equals PRT. Interest equals principal times rate times time. So what is my principal? My starting balance is this, 1,149.89. Okay, that's my my principal, my P. I'm going to times it by my rate. Credit cards typically have very high interest rates. So look out for that. That's why you might have some grown-ups in your life that have gotten in trouble with the credit there. And now I'm going to add in time. So in this case, my time is 1 year. So I'm going to times by 1, which really, we know doesn't do anything, but we're going to throw it in there so we can say I have my P times my R times my T there. Okay, plug that into my calculator. Plug and chug, and I get 206.9802. Again, I need 3 decimal places to work with for rounding. I want to round to the nearest cent. 4 or less, let it rest. So I'm going to pay the bank or the credit card company this much money just for borrowing money from them for a year. So how much is that fridge really going to cost me? Well, I got to pay for the fridge plus interest on the fridge, and that's going to give me a grand total of, hooray for calculators. So that busted fridge, yay adulting, is going to cost me this much. Boom. Hooray for adulthood. All right, let's do some problems together. So we're going to find the interest and we're going to find the total. So I equals PRT. So we're going to label the parts of my problem here. So this 300, that's my principal. This 7%, that's my rate. And this 2.5 here, that's my time. So I equals P, 300, times my rate as a decimal, boom, boom, it's 0.07, times time. And to make it go into my calculator more easily, I'm going to write 2.5 instead of 2.5. All right, plug and chug. 300 times 0.07 times 2.5 is going to give me 52.5. I'm going to make it look like money when I answer my question. So that is $52.50 in interest. For my total, I need to add it on. So I'm going to start with my $300 that I originally loaned, plus I need to give the bank $52.50 for like, hey, thank you for giving me money that I didn't have. And so by the time I pay it back, it's going to cost me $352.50. Let's do one more together, shall we? Woohoo. Okay, copy that down. So again, come back here. I equals PRT. So this is my principal. This is my rate. This is my time. Okay. So I equals 300 times 0.03 as a decimal times my time. All right. Plug that into my calculator, chug it on out. I get 108. So this is a different case. This is where I'm like putting money in the bank instead of, come on. Putting money in the bank instead of loaning it out. So after my 12 years of waiting, my money will have earned me $108. And so what will I have there total? I will have my $300 that I put in my savings account, plus my $108 that the bank gave me for leaving my money there. And I get a grand total of $408. Okay. Go ahead, grab that scratch paper, try one whole problem. All right, that's it. Make sure you tried that one whole problem I asked you to try on your own. Show up with any questions that you have. Get a good night's sleep, and don't forget that calculator. See ya in class tomorrow, children. Goodbye.